With massive youth unemployment holding between 2 and 3 million young people in its icy grip, the university-going student is compelled to feel him or herself not the norm, but an elite in society. And I think that helps explain what's happening at our universities. Solidarity with the struggling other student, the 2 and 3 million unemployed, is a real factor. I think it's our biggest mountain, but in our journalism, we make it a bit of a molehill. So in the PIGS countries, that's Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain, high youth unemployment is a very daily headline, as it should be here, but it's not, for its ripple effect across our country. The sky-high costs of university are a distinct factor. For most young black children, student aid is the only way to get to university. And then the graduate, as many of you know, hit the world of work, and what happens there? The black tax is levied on top of taxes. The black tax is the cost of being a new black middle-class person and having to support a huge and dependent family. The statistic I always use is Zwelinzima Vavi, who wrote, or he said, that his salary stretched to cover 8 to 20 people. And I think that's the experience for most black middle-class people. And it's at the workplace and the urban centers where the most scalding race debates are being held today. Is work changing fast enough? The employment equity numbers certainly don't suggest so, and management remains to large measure as it was, not representative of the country in which it works. How soon, I ask, before the statue war comes to the workplace? The issues are the same. Wherein lies the networks, the patronage, cultural and positional power? I think these are the fundaments of where our politics is at, but it's also the fundaments of where our economic debates are at. Who gets places and who doesn't? For me, the good South African society would double the size of the middle class. I know we can debate that, Nikki. And keep the bottom manageable by a system of grants. At the moment, about 18 million South Africans are supported by the social welfare system. There's a push to extend it up to 21-year-olds, the child grant that is, but I'm not sure that it's fiscally sustainable. And for a time, the economy could sustain that kind of grant because it was single-minded, economic policy was single-minded, and I think that it worked quite well for a period in South Africa. Unfortunately, that has stopped, as the state has dabbled in everything from ASGISA, I'm not sure if you all remember that economic policy plan, to the National Development Plan, to the IPAP, the Industrial Policy Plan, to a system of infrastructure-led growth that is not yet showing significant returns. And now if you ask, our economic policy is predicated back on the Freedom Charter with its clauses for nationalization. I think it's a recipe for confusion, and it's seen the car getting stuck. The economy has stuttered to a near halt. Growth is at about 1.2%, and it's probably a little less. 1 million job opportunities have been lost as we increasingly live in this kind of world. I think load shedding is impacting a lot more than our financial and economic journalism has allowed itself to reflect. We're only telling the corporate story when in fact it's a story of the entirety of society. And business, I feel, is too scared to say anything. I'm not sure why the private sector is as cowed as it is, but it's not saying that basically the economic policies that are on the table are not working. It probably happened when former President Thabo Mbeki hit out at a number of business leaders, and it's probably also happening because the new growth sectors of the economy, be it gaming or mobile or digital, are all dependent on a license from the state. I feel like the business community is not using its voice, and that we as financial, economic, and business journalists don't sufficiently keep it accountable for not doing so. So in my secret dreams, I am a financial reporter. Might not say so from my caps at City Press and the Mail and Guardian, but that is my dream. I learned it at the Financial Mail, where I worked for many years, and the pink paper, the Financial Times, I have to say, is my favorite in the world, of course, after City Press. And then so is Fast Company, the Harvard Business Review. I love them because they show us how the wheels turn and how the economy runs and how people work. It's fascinating, and it's the work that you do every day. So as a judge of the CNN MultiChoice African Journalist of the Year Awards, I'm very privileged to get an overview of our continent's journalism every single year. I feel that it's getting stronger, that Kenya and Nigeria are the outliers at the moment, and that South Africa probably comes next, but that competition is getting more and more fierce. When I first joined, they said to me, you know, South Africa can't win everything. There must be a little equity here. That is no longer the case. Everything's getting much stronger. Health and news remain the very best categories, but business and financial news is growing as our economies grow.